What's going on, gamers? Today we're back with some more Outriders Worldslayer. Today what I'm going to be covering is something that's been on a lot of people's minds for quite some time, and that's the question of loot space and when we'll be getting any more. Well, now we've got not a complete definitive answer, but we have got a bit more info, so let's dive in. Welcome back all you gamers. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a quick video. Obviously the latest patch has been released, and if you need to know any more on that, there's been an abundance of buffs, adjustments, nerfs you could say, and just complete shake up to the game. Some good, some not quite as good I would say, but if you do need to know, I'll chuck that link up top right now. But for now, on the topic of loot space, if you're like me, two massive things you've been asking for such a long time: a lot more loot space, whether it be your inventory, whether it be your stash. We just need to be able to hold more items. It is a bit of a nightmare keeping track of everything, but they have helped us out with one key feature, which is now, if I click on this fella, just over here now, since the last patch, when I go over to this, now if I hold in my right analog on Xbox at the very least, it's going to finally lock that item, meaning I can't accidentally deconstruct any of the good gear I've been working towards, especially those purples, which I've dismantled an abundance of purple boots and gloves, which I really shouldn't have and wish I hadn't. However, now we can finally item lock, so that's definitely one massive plus to the last patch. However, in regards to the actual loot space, things are not looking quite as promising. As here's a post that I read off of Reddit whilst going through the last patch notes, and it's from the Archon, their community manager. So as you can see here on the thread, someone has asked about loot space, which I am sure has been asked many times over. The Archon has replied this time: "We honestly tried our best to increase the stash size, but our experiments indicated that not only did more stash space lead to longer loading times and hang-ups, but they even caused the frame rate to drop during regular gameplay." That's very bad. That means it's something that they may not be able to ever implement. So it didn't just lead to a one-off frustration, but an ongoing degradation in performance because of, and he goes on to say, code reasons. At 200 item slots in the stash, some of the Gen 8 consoles, so some of the older consoles, were taking up to 40 seconds just to load in. I would have loved to have seen stash space added into this patch, but from a tech perspective, our hands are tied with the game code as it currently is. Now, I am not a coder, I do not know as much technical data as quite a lot of people out there, but that does not sound promising to me in the slightest, and I would imagine that it would be very hard to implement any kind of adjustment to loot space if it's going to cause those kind of issues. It's just going to mean their player base is going to drop, it's going to be an absolute nightmare in order to code it by the sounds of it. So to me, definitely not looking promising. The poster then goes on to ask, what about 2 stash bases of 100 slots each, on a character basis in addition to the shared one, or even 50? And they reply with, I expect that would take game developer resources to recode part of the save game system, which honestly speaking we do not want to touch at this point in time given past adventures. I think this is pretty set in stone, and for the very foreseeable future, probably forever I would say. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong, but to me that sounds like loot space is going to be staying at 100 probably continually now. They may well be able to look at it at some point down the line if they've got additional time and resources, but I think that will take a lot of effort on their part, and I don't know how the player base is currently, if it would be something they'd actually be looking at. Again, same with loadouts, there's not much spoken about on that front. They don't seem to ever be replying when people are asking about it. So to me, if they're not able to actually sort out the loot space, I probably couldn't see them implementing loadouts or anything such as that anytime soon, and maybe not even possibly in the future. So if you did want to know, is there going to be more space available for yourself soon for those loot items in your stash and such? The short answer is definitely not. Could it happen in the future? Possibly, but like I said, it is definitely not looking promising so far. Alright, well you gamers, just a quick one from me today, just a little heads up, just in case you're hoping that's on the horizon and such. Definitely not from the sounds of it, so don't get your hopes up. there'll be more content from me. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox. Take care. I'll see you on next day.